I am Angela Wild, and today I have got the incredible and legendary Tammy Anderson online for our first ever Behind the Goggles discussion, in which my goal is to just showcase to the world all these incredible talents, swim instructors, business owners that are just doing amazing work in their community. So, Tammy Anderson, say hello.
Hello, everybody. How are you? So good to be here, and thank you, Angela, for having me be your first person online.
I
Or
appreciate it. You got back to me so quickly. Even you set the calendar time and you were on it. I appreciate that because I didn't have to harass you incessantly
yes,
for meeting dates. So I appreciate that.
yes,
Okay, well, I want you to share with everybody because this is not about me. This is about you and showcasing your talents and your work.
right.
So I would love to tell for you to tell everybody who you are and where you teach and how long you've been teaching.
Okay, so my name is Tammy Anderson Lee. I am a third generation native San Diegan. I have been teaching swimming here for over 50 years. I can't even believe it's been 50 years, but yes, it's been 50 years that I've been teaching swimming. And here locally in San Diego, I own Aqua Pro Swim School. The swim school's going on 30 years here in San Diego, and we have a sister location in Mesa, Arizona as well.
Amazing.
Mhm.
And I know because I've been in San Diego for 27 of those years that
Uh-huh.
even when I was just this fledgling swim instructor at some of the local mom and pop swim schools, Aqua Pros was kind of legendary and everyone knew like Tammy and Aqua Pros is an OG. And for those of you that are not as familiar with the San Diego swim school landscape, uh, San Diego is blessed with a lot of really passionate mom and pop swim schools that are owned and operated by individuals that have been doing this 30, 40, 50 years. And Tammy is definitely one of the trailblazers in this field and is doing incredible work in the San Diego swim school industry. And as such, is just really dedicated to her community and the craft itself. So
Yeah.
I would love for you to share with everybody what is the specific age group that you primarily work with.
You know what? I teach anywhere from 2 weeks. I take some of my staff and friends, their babies in at 2 weeks old, all the way through adults. So I run the gamut, but I have to tell you, it's not so much the age group, but my favorite swimmers I like to work with are the tough of the tough, of the hard, the ones that everybody else gave up on. I just like give them to me. Come on. It's kind of like they're bucking broncos sometimes, and it's kind of breaking them to where they literally then become they just love the water, and they may have started off a little rough, but for me that is just, I'm very goal oriented, so I like to have the tough kids, and my goal is just to get them to swim, so that's what makes it very interesting for me.
I love that. It's so inspiring when tough kids, when you have those aha moments
Oh yeah.
and they have their aha moments and we have the aha moments as an instructor and the parents have their aha moments. It's the triad of success, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like, what other, well, I'm sure there are some other jobs, but for me personally, the self-gratification that I get out of teaching swimming, and especially if I have a student that came in that was really upset, didn't want to be in the water, and the parents pretty much gave up on them or whatever, and then when they are able to swim and be able to self-rescue and be competent in the water, there's no better praise that you can get other than that, I think. So I think that's,
Yeah, I would
we
agree.
have a pretty cool job, basically.
So I think
Yes.
for those of us who have been in the trenches for as long as we have, um, I think we all really would agree it is probably the best job on the planet, which is a perfect segue to I would love to know and for you to share with everyone. How did you find yourself into this field? How did you get into swim instruction?
Well, I was a competitive swimmer here locally in San Diego. I was a competitive swimmer at the age of 7 at the Scripps Ranch Swim and Rocket Club, and that's where I
Woo-hoo.
started. And by the time I was 12, I was a pretty good swimmer here locally. And there's a lady named Mib Somerville who was running all of the backyard swim lesson programs in the Scripps Ranch area back in the 70s. And so at the young age of 12, she invited me to come be a teacher's aide with her. And that's how I started teaching. Then she invited me to come with her to work at Sharp Hospital, and they had the Easter Seals program. So there was a lot of kids with special needs. So that's where I got started in teaching instruction from there. Well, still being a competitive swimmer, but at the age of 16, and I had my sights on the Olympics, right? Well, I was driving my moped to swim practice and a car hit me, and then I slid under the car, and then the back tire rolled over my knee. So I was out of competition for at least a good 6 months, and then I gradually came back. But at that time, my swim coaches just kind of worked with me as much as they could, but then they said, well, why? Because they wanted me around the pool deck. So they said, why don't you come help us coach? So, and coach the younger kids. So then I started coaching swimming. And then at the time, I was the youngest registered AAU swim coach here in, I think, in the US, because at the time you couldn't get paid for coaching because then you'd lose your amateur status and you couldn't compete in the Olympics. So it was, back in the day. So it was just one of those things. But I chose to keep coaching after that. And so I had a really extensive competitive swimming background. I was out in Colorado Springs, coached at the Olympic Training Center for years and with Colorado Springs swim team and with all the high caliber athletes. So I just kind of morphed into that for over the years. Then I was getting a little tired of the snow in Colorado, so I wanted to come back home here to San Diego. I lived in Colorado for 4, almost 5 years, moved back to San Diego, and then opened the Yellow Pages because the internet wasn't around then. It's so funny. You have to remind people there was a time the internet didn't exist.
Is.
I know.
God,
So
we're
I
old.
opened up the Yellow Pages and then I started calling swim programs because I just needed a job, something swimming, and I just started going down the list and then worked at a place called East County Swim School. So at the time, my boyfriend, Bob, who then became my husband, Bob, anyways, he owned a welding and machine shop. And so I came home, I was like all upset. I didn't have a job. I've never been fired or been on unemployment or, none of that. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Because I really enjoyed the job and really enjoyed the kids. And so he's like, well, just open your own swim school. And I'm like, I have never taken a business class in college. And he's like, man, don't even worry about it. I'll help you. Because he goes, all you need to do is start off, just go get a business license, and then we will go from there. So that's how I started the swim school. And it was just me teaching for many years, or not many years, a couple of years, for a while. And then I had some of the other teachers come over and and that's how it started. So a very small little swim school that's morphed into what it is. So first it was me. Oh, and I had $500 to my name. That was it. Because remember, I just lost my job and I had a truck payment I had to pay. So I only had $500 to my name, and that's when I started the swim school. So over the last 30 years, it's now morphed into, I don't know, I've got close to 50 employees. We have couple thousand, 1,000 kids swimming or so every week. And that's what it's all morphed into. Or I like to say it's snowballed into. So so now it's just a big swimming machine. We have,
You're missing a huge part, and I will just say before you get into it,
uh-huh.
this has been something that I'm so grateful for. I'm so proud of this to have been attended this. But please share with everybody the impact and what you do for the autism community in San
Okay.
Diego, but also what do you do for swim instructors in our education? How do you help that community?
I'm going to share the family story. I was actually still at East County Swim School as the manager there, and I got a phone call from a mom, and she says, hey, I'd like to schedule and pay for a private swim lesson for my daughter. She's not really capable of learning how to swim because she has autism, but I would like for her to be in the pool. I just had a new baby. She loves being in the water, and would like for her to keep having somebody in the water with her, but I can't get in the water with her right now. So I'm like, okay. So my first question is, what is autism? Mind you, this is like 1996, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even know what autism is. And so I signed her up for a private swim lesson. And in the meantime, I went to the library because again, the internet was in its infancy. It wasn't around much. And when you typed it in, for those of you that are aware of like autism and things like that, Temple Grandin popped up, which I thought was really fascinating because she was championing it. She's an adult that has autism that tells her story of how it was growing up being autistic. And so I got a little bit of information from her, but there really wasn't much of anything. So on that very first day of swim lessons, in comes this mom and daughter and a baby, and the mom's holding the baby, and I'm looking at this kid. Well, mind you, I had been doing some swim lessons over at the Easter Seals program, and I had worked with kids with Down syndrome, CP, spina bifida. So I was very familiar with those kids. And when you would see them, there was always just something that would kind of give you an indication that they had some type of a special need, right? Well, this little girl just comes bopping in and she looks like every other kid. So I'm like, oh, is that my swim class? So I go over and I go, hey, is this Amanda? And she goes, yeah, this is Amanda, your class. I'm like, okay, cool. So I get Amanda in. And of course, Amanda was, and it wasn't so much of the water in the pool in me, other than the fact that the separation anxiety from her mom and the new baby, right? And after a couple months, Amanda was doing really well swimming. And it was actually Janice that was kind of teaching me what autism was and things like this, and things that worked at home with Amanda. And, and it was just quite interesting to me. And here again, because I love a challenge and I love the tough ones, and I was just trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So after a couple months of her swimming with me, I'm like, hey, Janice, you got to come on the pool deck. You got to see what Amanda's doing. She's doing such great stuff. And so she's like, okay. So she comes out, and Janice is standing there on the pool deck with holding the baby. And then I have Amanda swim a couple times. And then I look over at Janice, and she's got like tears running down her eyes. And I'm like, I go over and go, hey, well, like, what's going on here? This is like really cool. Why are you upset? And she goes, Tammy, you don't understand. She goes to school. She cannot talk, or she does not cannot. She does not talk. She does not read. She does not write. But for somehow, some way, you were able to teach her how to swim. So it was not only an aha moment for me, but it was an aha moment for her because she had kind of put limitations on the capabilities of her daughter. So that was my aha moment. That's how it started. And then once I realized at what the water and the magical properties that the water has, I was like, you know what? There's more Amandas out there. There, and at the time too, the prevalence rate for autism was 1 in 10,000. Now, here in San Diego, I will tell you the national range is 1 in 36, 1 in 34. But here
It's
in San
34.
Diego, yeah, 1 in 34. Here in San Diego, we have the prevalence rate is 1 in 22. And do you know why? It's
I
very
don't.
interesting. It's because we have such great services here. Some of the aquatic things that I have developed over the years has sparked a lot of families' interest. So we are a military town, and so we have different installations of military. We have them all here, and so anybody that is in the military, they ask to be transferred to San Diego with their special needs child because we have more services to offer. Isn't that interesting?
Really interesting. I
Yeah,
did not know that.
yeah, yeah.
But it makes perfect sense because
Mhm.
yes, we have the naval base, we have the marine base, we
Mhm.
have the Coast
Yeah,
Guard, we have
yeah.
everyone here.
We've got everything here. So anyway, So then from there, that's when I started working more with students with autism. And then when because I went, my original pool was out in East County, and it was a gym pool. And you guys that have facilities that you're renting, and it's a gym pool, and you know how the people are owners of the lap lanes, and the lap swimmers, they come in, they hate the kids, right? And they
Of
hate,
course,
yeah, they hate them making
of
any
course.
noise or anything and all that stuff. So that was my original pool. So when I secured the Boys and Girls Club indoor facility up here, then I'm like, okay, I can have all the screaming kids I want because nobody's going to come kick them out or tell me to get them out or tell them to stop or any of that. So as soon as I got the Boys and Girls Club, and that was in 2000, I actually did some searching and got it a couple of names. And then I was invited to an Autism Society San Diego board meeting. And at this board meeting, all I wanted to do was just let these families know that yes, I have worked with students with autism. Yes, I got it. And I want to invite the families to the swim school and do a pizza pool party with them because I had just seen, I not only had a handful of kids that I was teaching, but just the great strides that the kids made. You know, I have seen so much over the years. I mean, we've had so many kids, their first words spoken were in our pool. You know, it's just crazy how magical the water is. And one of our swim dads actually said, he's like, you know what? The water and the swimming pool is like the golden elixir for these kids with autism. It truly is. I
It
mean,
really is.
it really is. They just make so many great strides. And we've had speech therapists over the years that actually come and with the kids in the water and do their speech therapy, and it really helps them. Just all kinds of stuff because of the sensory, and we all know, you know, now, the hydrostatic pressure, the turbulence, the viscosity, you know, all the things that the water gives us really helps kids with autism with the sensory issues that they have. So I go to this Autism Society San Diego board meeting, and I walk in, I'm like, hey, my name's Tammy and I have a swim school, and I would like to invite you families to and come to my pool, and we'll do a pizza pool party and do like a recreational swim. And I'll have my lifeguards there. And then I'll make sure that, you know, the lifeguards will know because, you know, at this time there wasn't activities for these families. And if
Yeah.
they did go to a city pool or they did go to a country club pool and the lifeguards are there, they're pretty much yelling at them and telling them, oh, stop running and like all this stuff. So the parents would be embarrassed and all this stuff. But I was explaining to them at this board meeting, I get it. I know what's going on. It's fine. Just bring them on down. And so all the board members, and it was a volunteer board, and they're all, majority of them were all parents. I think there was maybe a couple professionals, but the majority of them were, um, they were just parents on the board trying to figure out stuff together and with their kids. Cause remember, again, now I think the prevalence rate may have went up to 1 in 5,000 by this time. So, still a lot compared to what it is today. Um, but it was just not as known. And there was getting more and more kids with autism from jumping from 10,000 to 5,000 in just like a couple of years. So they're kind of like starting to figure out that they needed to do stuff. Anyways, so all these parents are kind of looking at me and they're like, who is this crazy woman? Like, seriously? Because at the time, nobody came to them and said, "Hey, I wanna help you." These parents were, and it was a parent board because they're all trying to work together to kind of figure out how to navigate day-to-day life, let alone just having activities or something for their families to do or enjoy. And so
Hmm.
that was our first pizza pool party over 25 years ago, and it has been the best thing, for the families in the community, and I would encourage anybody in your communities too, because what it does, and I didn't really know the impact of what it does at the time, but it does a couple things. So the families come with their autistic child. They have a great time in the pool. They feel relaxed because they know everybody else there is in the same boat. So like if their kid like rips off his swimsuit and is running down the pool naked, it's like, oh yeah, my kid did that last week. No biggie.
We've been there, done
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
that
right?
t-shirt.
So it's like a very welcoming atmosphere for them. But then not only that, it's the networking that it provides for these families. So you have the newly diagnosed three-year-old family, 5-year-old family, depending, but back then it was more 5-year-olds, not 3-year-olds, but at least now we're getting 2-year-olds diagnosed. So that's way better. So you have these newly diagnosed families with the veteran families that have their adults that have autism, like in their 30s, and they're there. So they were able to network and they could ask the other parents, like, hey, how did you do this? Or hey, how did you do that? So that has been key. We have done these pizza pool parties for over 25 years. It started off on the second Friday of every month, nonstop. The only time we stopped once was during COVID. And then we kind of did one and we snuck everybody in, even when it was kind of like iffy. But that's a whole nother story about COVID. And we don't have time for that. But but yeah, and that's what here's another thing it does. It allows the entire family to come in and enjoy an event together. So a lot of times there's siblings that do not have autism, but it's hard for them to go to public, like if they would go to Disneyland or if they want to go to SeaWorld or something like that. And then their sibling that has autism starts melting down, and then mom and dad are like, okay, come on, we gotta go. The other sibling that has a that that doesn't have autism gets kind of gypped, right? So at least here at these pizza pool parties, the whole family can come and attend together. As soon as you're wet in the water, everybody looks the same, right? You can't tell if anybody has a disability. So it makes it a level playing field for the families just to come and enjoy something.
Yeah.
So after we started doing the pizza pool parties, then we needed to get the kids into swim lessons. This is before the statistic came out of drowning is the leading cause of death for those with autism. And so we kind of gradually started doing a little bit of swim lessons, and then we started getting money and scholarships. So we did fundraising, we did our splash for cash, we did all kinds of stuff. So then we started having swimmers that were swimming pretty good after a while. And so then I started the surf camp. So we had a surf camp specifically designed for kids with autism. That was this summer was its 25th summer. And so just kind of incredible the things that we've accomplished between the Autism Society San Diego and myself collaborating to provide for these families. And it's going on the 60th anniversary for the Autism Society San Diego. They've been the original one here in San Diego, and so we've always been kind of the leader in autism. And it's just been really rewarding for me to have helped so many families over the years. But then it was because I kind of got into this knack. Then it was swim teachers were going, well, Tammy, how do you do this? And how do you do that? And I think it was in what, 2005 or 2006, I spoke at one of the United States Swim School Association conferences, and my whole little thing on working with kids with autism. And after I spoke, there is so many swim teachers that came up and they're like, Tammy, I need your help. I'm doing this, like blah, blah, blah. And by this time I had already been working with kids for a good 10 years and had gone through the school of hard knocks, like ripped swimsuits and like all kinds of stuff. And I was figuring it out on the fly as well, just like
Heaters breaking, pool
yeah,
overflowing.
yeah, like all kinds of stuff. Kids running crazy on the pool deck and things like that. So after that, they were like, we really need the information. So then me and Kathy Ball, who she was a behavioralist for San Diego City Schools, and she helped me with surf camp because the very first year we did surf camp, we just did 1 week. Well, the Autism Society wanted to do at least 6 or 8 weeks of surf camp, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do that. So I can do one, but I can't do 6 or 8. So we had um, Kathy Ball was the behavioralist, so she was gonna run camp. I would just kind of bop there when I could because I'm teaching and running my swim school, so I couldn't do both. And even though I did the majority of getting everything set up, she was like boots on the ground. there at camp. And so she was so good with the behaviors that I learned so much with her. So that's when we wrote the book Swimming with Autism. So Kathy Bull and I collaborated on that together. And then I had two swim teachers that helped edit it. And Carol, she was like a technical writer, so she had done some stuff. And then locally, one of the other swim teachers, she kind of helped with it as well. So that's when we did that. And then after we got the book out, then everybody wanted us to train them. So we started Swimming with Autism conferences. So I just did one this past weekend, as a matter of fact, but it was on a grant program, and it was for local swim instructors. So we trained 35 swim instructors from San Diego City pools and from a couple of the local YMCAs on the best practices working with students with autism. I had
Love it.
75 autistic kids at my pool on Sunday for their hands-on
Love it.
experience.
Love it.
It's kind of like a three-ring circus, but controlled chaos. But
It's controlled.
yeah, controlled chaos. And so I've been doing these conferences now for over 15 years, and I've had swim instructors come from all around the world, come and participate: Malaysia, Poland, Canada, Mexico. Trying to think of some of the just from all over, and then local staff and across the United States too. So that's been really fun to do that, just to kind of get the word out, because it's about the best practices and having the knowledge as a swim instructor. And our trainings are geared for those that teach swimming. We do not do physical therapy. We don't go to the technical, scientific aspects of it. It's the down and dirty, hard, and, you know, this is what you do when you have a kid that's ripping your hair out. This is what you do when you do that. And the swim teachers really enjoy it, and they love having the opportunity to have the hands-on experience with the kids. So it's been good. I'm gonna do another one March of 2027. That'll be coming up. I haven't quite, or February. I don't know. I think they wanted to do February. I don't know. I'm doing another one soon. So, but yeah. So that's what we got there. So that is kind of the background.
So I wanted to extend this a little bit more in just very briefly, because unfortunately I have not been able to attend. Unfortunately, every single time you host one of these, I'm double booked with something else.
I know.
But I know I'm so bummed. Even this upcoming one, I can't do it. But first of all, let's have you talk about your spa conference, but that's going to lead
Okay.
me to my question that I want you to
Okay.
share with everybody is, because we're talking about certifications, talk about spa, but
Uh-huh.
then what certifications or education or specialized training do you feel has been the most influential in shaping you as a swim teacher? Because I know your autism training has shaped me profoundly.
Yeah.
So talk about spa and then answer that, please.
Okay, so SPA is the collaboration. Well, let me just go back. I was the committee chair of the United States Swim School Association Special Abilities Training Program. So that's training swim instructors across across the world, but it was all on special um, abilities, because I didn't like the word special needs. I don't like the negative, but adaptive aquatics on all aspects of all disabilities, not including autism, but everything else. So Aaron and Angie and myself, that we were on the committee back then, and that was 12, 13 years ago that we rolled that out. The first time that we had that rolled out. But we decided, and another teacher that had taken my Swimming with Autism training 10 years ago had contacted me, and she's like, "Hey, Tammy, is there any conferences that are geared towards swim teachers that work with special needs kids or special abilities kids?" And I'm like, "Actually, no, there's not. There is not like a standard conference that runs every year, like we have the Aqua Pros one, or the professional one, the Drowning Prevention United States Swim School Association. You got ASCA. You got, you don't. There isn't anything that's really there for adaptive aquatics. So I wrangled Erin, who is great with all kinds of kids with disabilities, and she works with a lot of kids with CP. And then Angie, who helped me with the special abilities training, is just well rounded as well with all of her. So I contacted them. I'm like, hey, what do you guys think if we did a conference that was geared towards all disabilities and that we for swim teachers that work within the field with special abilities. And they're like, oh, we think that's a great idea. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So that's how we started. We did the first year, and we call it a spa conference. So it's special abilities pedagogy for aquatics. And so the whole idea was us to all collaborate with one another because you have to think about it. Us that work with the adaptive aquatics arena, those are the tough of the tough kids the majority of the time. Not to say that some of the typical kids will take it out.
Don't touch us either.
Yeah, right. But generally speaking, the kids that are in the adaptive aquatics program are a little bit more challenging, let's just say. And so we wanted to do something that was kind of fun. So that's why we came up with the spa thing. So every time when we do the conference, it's at a nice spa resort. So we can casually hang around and meet each other and come up with collaborate and do things. And then there's a spa thing, right? So it's supposed to be kind of fun. And we always want to do it by the ocean, by the beach, because that's just so healing, anyways. And so our 2-day conference basically is well, we have like we're doing it. No, we're doing it March 1st through the 3rd. That's 2027. It's going to be in Daytona Beach, Florida. It's going to be the weekend right after the Daytona 500 for anybody that's a race car fan. So I'm probably going to go out there do the week before.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll probably just go hang out there. And then, but the year previous, we were at St. Padre Island. We were at Margaritaville. That was so much fun. And then the year prior to that, we were in Palm Springs at the best spa ever.
I was so bummed to have missed that.
Oh, and I know, but we did stop. We have our cabana talks, which I think are a big hit. So the first day is like a meet and greet, then the second day is classroom stuff, only till about 3, and then we do collaboration thing and do more meetups, generally in the swimming pool. If it has a swim up bar, even better. And then we all kind of hang out in the pool and we kind of like chat about stuff. And then the next day we have what's called our cabana chats, and then we'll have like 3 or 4 different cabanas. And so the participants kind of rotate through the cabanas, and each one of the cabanas we have like a little something going on, or a speaker is going to be there. And then what we do is for a group, we give everybody some questions for them to get in groups of 4 or 5 together and work work together to come up with solutions for problems that we see in our teaching and how we correct it, or what would be the best practices on doing something. So yeah, that's what our spa conference is. So if anybody's interested in coming out to Daytona Beach 2027 for our next one, we do have our spa conference Facebook page, but you can always get a hold of me. I can send out information as well. So
And I'll put all of your contact information at the bottom when
yeah.
this is all edited. So,
Yeah.
well, then share with everyone what are there particular certifications or training that really shaped you as
Well,
an instructor?
well, definitely being a swim coach and going through all the technical training through USA Swimming, a that was really good. All the technical background and ASCA, in my
Yeah,
younger years.
agreed.
Yeah, so I had that really technical background as a swimming instructor. And then belonging to the United States Swim School Association, any of the infant toddler uh, training programs. I even went, and I still have it, but there was used to be. I don't know if it even exists anymore, but it was like the World Infant Aquatic Congress, all babies. So I kind of like really
Yeah.
went down the tube, or just not went down the tube, but went down and focused on really just trying to learn more about infants, because that was an area I wasn't familiar with. I was a deck coach for years and taught swimming, but not the infants. So in my younger careers, when I started off 30 years ago, when I opened my swim school, I really kind of went down that path of really learning about the infants. Oh, I just love teaching the babies. They're so fun. Any of those training, they have really been beneficial for me. And then also too, I mean, just like on a side gig thing too, I'm like PADI certified and SSI certified. I'm avid scuba diver. So that's kind of helped me in a whole nother arena. We've done stuff at the pool. We've done like sassy scuba stuff for the kids, and that just kind of expands the aquatic world out there for everybody. But I would have to say the United States Swim School Association infant toddler training, any of the infant toddler trainings I've had in the past, and ASCA and USA Swimming have been the top 3. I mean, I've had Red Cross lifeguarding certification for eons now. It's like, but I mean, you just have to have it. So I have it, I take it. But where I really gain
Mm.
knowledge is on
Yeah.
those courses, those certifications.
So, given your illustrious career and everything that you've
Uh,
gone through, obviously, one of my goals for this is to kind of help provide resources and mentorship for the next generation of swim
right.
instructors. So, but also, I think for anyone watching that's a parent that might not be as involved in this world, what's one of the biggest lessons that you've learned as a swim instructor?
One of the biggest lessons that I have learned is that this is a career choice. It's not just your couple of months summer job and then you're going to go do something else. Like literally I have made a substantial living off of teaching swimming. My just owning the swim school has been one thing, but it has afforded me to travel. I would have never have had that opportunity if I had a regular job behind the desk, right? So it's a career choice, and I've made a comfortable living at teaching swimming.
Yeah.
I think that the younger generation really need to understand that if you really put your time and effort and focus into your craft and your talent as a swim instructor, it can really sustain you for your entire life.
Yeah, I would agree. Wait, how many times do people ask you, maybe not so much now, but well, what's your real job? Oh, you're a swim
Oh,
teacher. That must be so
no,
great.
I was
What's
gonna
your
say,
real job?
I was gonna say that in the ending too on my notes. But yeah, but that's the thing. Okay, I can tell you my dad said that. My dad was like, because when I was younger and I would have like a couple jobs and I was always around the pool and he goes, okay, I know that you like teaching swimming, but when are you gonna get a real job? And I'm like, but
Yeah,
Dad, I love this. I love
yeah,
teaching. I love coaching. I love doing all this. But even though being a swim coach, I mean, you're only coaching a couple hours a day, right? You're not and when you're a beginner swim coach, you're really fledgling to survive. And so, I had 4, 5, 6 jobs all at once, bartending and cocktail waitressing and washing dishes at a restaurant and teaching
that's
swimming.
true.
So it was just kind of like you do what you do to get by. But then I did not realize owning my own business that I could literally figure it out on my own, but I have to tell you, I still day to day, I fly by the seat of my pants. When people say, "Oh, do you have a business plan?" No, I've never had a business plan. I'm like, I just want kids in the water and I'm going to teach them. That's my plan. So, but I've never had a business plan. I've never taken a loan out for the swim school. Like I said, I started $500 to my name. I won't tell you exactly, but I can tell you the swim school's worth a lot more than that now. And that's just putting the hard work in and really working hard and treating your customers right and doing things that I would want in return as me if I was a customer. I mean, that's pretty much how I've led my I or like I was raised by the golden rule, do unto others as you want to do. So that I kind of funneled that into
Yeah,
my swim school, how we work our customer service. Like I have on my website, just an example, and I have all our pricing on the website. I'm like, I don't care if the competitors see what I'm charging because that's what I charge. I don't really care. You know,
Yeah.
but as me as a consumer, isn't it super annoying when you go to somebody's website and it's like they have all this information and then they're like, "Well, fill out all this and then we'll tell you how much it is." And I'm like, "I don't want to be added to another gazillion email list, you
No.
know?" So
No. No.
if I can just look and see what the pricing is, then I'm like, "Okay, cool. That was nice of them to do that." So that's just kind of an example of how I run my business.
I
Is
hear you. I
yeah,
hear you. And
right?
the flip side is, I think we can all agree as business owners, it's incredibly amazing to me how people will have all the information on the website at their fingertips and they will still email you with questions that are right there on the website.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Like
too. Because parents
it's
don't
right
read.
there.
I mean, come on. All right, parents that are watching, please read because swim
Please
instructors,
read.
we know
Please read
they
the
don't read.
terms and
Can I
conditions.
tell you how many times we have on our yearly calendar that shows all the days that we're closed for holidays. Like
Yes.
we're off of what Martin Luther King Day on President's Day. We're off
Yes.
on Thanksgiving. We follow San Diego City Schools school calendar. So we put it on the website. We have it at the pool. We have it everywhere. We have signs like the week before reminding the parents that the pool's going to be closed on whatever this day is. And we
They
still,
still show up. Go up.
no, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But if you're a parent out there, please read the information and the swim instructors will know what we're talking about. So,
What? Three, it's perfect segue because one of my questions to you is what is the one thing you wish every parent
there.
understood
Okay, well,
before
here.
going into
Okay,
lessons?
besides reading, which they need to do,
Read the contract.
yeah, read what you're doing. Um,
That-
Here's the biggest thing, and it's the simplest thing, and it would make our life easier, and it would make their child's life easier, and it would make their life easier. The thing is, the moment you bring your infant home from the hospital and you give them that first bath, you need to get their head wet. You need to start getting them comfortable with the water because and I don't think, and maybe you guys don't even know how to explain it, but this is my theory and this is what I've gone with over for like 50 years. But this is my thing. I think because parents start avoiding their face with the worst thing ever invented called a shampoo visor, right?
Oh my gosh, right?
Shampoo visor, worst thing ever. And
Worst.
then they or the washcloth, or they tip their head back, or they do all that. So
Yes.
if parents, if when they bring their infant home for the first time, if they would acclimate them to the water and get their heads wet. But what happens is they pour the water on their head and the kids start moving their arms and legs. And the parents think that the infant doesn't like it. But no, that's the swim reflex. And they don't realize that that is actually a legit swim reflex. Remember, baby was swimming in mommy's tummy for 9 months, and then now baby feels the water and baby wants to go swimming again. But at that point, then that's when the parents start avoiding that water going on their face. And over time, as the kids are 1, 2, 3, however old they are, it instills a fear into the child because the parents are subliminally telling them that they are protecting them from the water. So then we get the kid at what, 3.5, 4 years old, coming into the pool, screaming Mimi because they're going to get their face wet because their parents have protected their face for all that long, for all that. So my thing would be if the parents could start getting their child comfortable with the water being on their face before they bring them to swim lessons, and for them if they if they're a little bit squawky with the water being on their face, just to practice it even more. And like I tell our swim parents, spend about 5 minutes in the tub without any shampoo, soap, anything. So you don't have the, oh, it's in my eyes, it's stinging. Um, just get a cup, practice like the cue that we use at the swim schools: 1, 2, 3, ready, go, go equals water, pour water on their head. But the more that they can get them comfortable with the water, it'll just make everybody else's life easier. Because when they come to that first swim lesson, they're not gonna be a screaming Mimi, and then they're not gonna be hanging onto the mom and dad's leg, and you have to pry them off to get them into the pool as they're screaming bloody murder and
Yep.
all that stuff, right? So,
Yep.
that would be my biggest thing.
Love that.
Be a little bit
Best
more
tip.
Yeah.
It is so true. No visors, no washcloths.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tilting the child's head back.
Oh, I'll tell you my second one. Can I tell you my second one? What I
Yeah.
to tell parents? Never put your child in a frickin' puddle jumper,
I
please.
will-
They do not swim, and they're not teaching them how to swim. I can't even tell you. I had a big controversy a few years ago, went viral, because I did a post where I had a picture of a puddle jumper, and I put an X through it, and all these parents were saying, "Oh, but my child's learning how to swim in it." I'm like, "No, they're not. Do you not know when you swim, this is not swimming. This is swimming." But it's the whole false sense of security. It's puddle jumpers aren't the insta babysitter, but they are to the parents, because I that's been a big huge increase that I've seen going anywhere in public, and you see these parents strapping on the puddle jumpers. And then there was it 2 years ago, 3 years ago, there was an incident in Texas where they were at a community pool. A little boy had a puddle jumper on, got out of the pool, somebody's birthday. Everybody goes over to the picnic tables. They're having pizza. Everybody's having a great time. The little guy had taken his puddle jumper off because he's eating pizza, right? Well, but he had been swimming for a half hour before in his puddle jumper floating around the pool, not realizing what the water really was like and giving him this false sense of security. And
Yeah.
then he hopped back in the pool. But the sickening part of the whole thing, not only did he drown and die, but it took him 15 minutes to even recognize that he was missing. And that's always the big thing too, right? If a child goes missing, you look in the bodies of water first. I mean, that's just a
First.
no-brainer. That's the
Yeah.
first place you look. So I don't know what happened other than parents not paying attention, but see, the parents get a false sense of security, not realizing the dangers being around the pool if their child is in a puddle jumper. The child has a false sense of security, thinking that he can just go hop back in over there in the deep end because he's been floating over there in the deep end the whole time in his little puddle jumper. And they just don't. If a child doesn't know how to swim, an adult needs to be in the pool with them within his arm's reach in an area where they are in their swimming. If they're not a good swimmer, then you're in the shallow end with them, and maybe you're on the steps. You don't take a non-swimmer or somebody that doesn't even know how to swim and you go piddle around in the deep end. They need to be confident in the water before you even go to the deep end. It's just crazy to me that people don't think that way. But there you go.
Um, I think that leads to the perfect introduction to one of my questions. And that is that if we could improve one thing about our profession, would
Mhm.
that be it? Just to get rid of the puddle jumpers entirely, or what else would it be?
Well, I think well, it's educating the parents that even though it's Coast Guard approved, the Coast Guard doesn't have jurisdiction over backyard pools or swimming pools. They have jurisdiction over open bodies of water. And puddle jumpers have a purpose. They're great if you're on a boat because then the kids just, if they fall off, they're bobbing, you can go get them. So they do have a purpose in an open body of water, not in somebody's backyard and not in a swimming pool. So I think it's our profession for us to just get that message out more and for people to understand the risks. I think that's where we're lacking because there's so many people that have their kids in bottle jumpers. So
Amen, sister. Amen. I am going to wrap this up
okay.
with final questions for you. The first is, given your longevity,
Right.
what changes have you seen in swim instruction, and what gives you hope for its future?
Okay. Well, the changes I've seen is there is a big influx of swimming instructors that are interested in the trade. And I think because they realized, as has big equity realized, that there's money to be made in teaching instruction. I don't know if some of these swim instructors really have their heart in it or if they're leading with their choices on making money first and then the kids second. So for me, it was never about the money, and it still isn't to this day about making money. And I think when people and these youngins that are starting to come up and they're like, "Oh, these guys are making like so much money an hour. I could do that." And they're kind of running trying to do teach swimming, but they don't, maybe they don't even really have a swimming background. Maybe they don't even like kids. They just know that you can get paid that you can get paid pretty well for being a swim instructor. So that kind of irks me a little bit that I see a lot of people that don't truly have the passion or truly have the heart and, aren't the water people. You're used to you always you know who the water people are, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, the water people, and then there's the people that are just trying to slide in and make a few bucks off the deal. So that's what kind of bothers me a little bit.
Yeah. What
I
gives you hope for the future, though?
for the future, I think, and because there's been such an influx of these younger, I'm backyard swimming type teachers and things like that that are just doing it for a little bit. I'm hoping that out of that, and I think it takes like maybe 100 to 1, but you get through, and I know this in my hiring, it takes like 100 staff before you get one really good one, right? Or okay, maybe more like 10 to 1. I don't know, but it seems like a lot of times
Start
it's
with the
good
rough,
on
my friend.
paper, and then you start out and you're like, yeah, maybe not. Yeah.
So
Whoopsie on
true.
that one. Darn it. But because there's so many more people coming into the field that we will start seeing the emergence of more swim instructors that are truly dedicated to the craft. That's what I would probably say. I would say this though, for me, I think probably one of the biggest compliments or what brings me most pride is I teach my babies. So I have kids that I coached and I'm teaching their kids and then I actually have another one that I'm teaching their kids. So the generation and the family, and I didn't even realize the impact I had. I have one of my swimmers that started with me as a 2-year-old, and I got her all the way up to the Olympic trials. She was an open water swimmer, and we were like together all the time. And so I just recently had gone up to her house. She lives about 3 hours north of me now. And I went to go visit her because she just had a new baby number two. And she wrote something on Facebook and it was really touching. It was kind of like all my childhood memories. My favorite childhood memories always had Tammy in them. And I was like, oh, because we traveled. Like we went to Australia. We went for her competing. We were on the international swim thing, and then even when she was younger, and then doing all the swimming, and it was like it kind of just set me back for a little bit, and I was like, yeah, because that's what I think is so cool of my job is that I get to see these kids grow up and then come back. I mean, I have like 4 or 5 staff right now that I taught as babies working for me. And I get to see them every day. And so the longevity, the legacy, I guess you could say, I think that's what makes me so proud of the last 50 years of teaching swimming. I think Johnny Johnson's the only one that's got me beat. I think he's got like 4 or 5 generations he's been teaching now.
I'm sorry, who?
Johnny Johnson.
Of
Well,
course. Like,
yeah,
yeah.
I think it's on like, I don't know,
Or
5
Jenny.
maybe generation.
Maybe Jenny, you, Johnny,
No, 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 no. Jenny more than me. Johnny Johnson more than me. Yeah, yeah.
legends. You're
I know.
legends.
Isn't that crazy? But that's
I
what's
had
so cool.
that moment, but I will say it's both a privilege and an honor and also very humbling. I'm getting pictures on Facebook. I'm getting notices that some of my former students are now entering college. One
Oh
of my
yeah,
students is a junior in college, and I had her when she was a tiny little nugget. So I haven't quite entered that realm yet, but I will
yeah,
say when the day comes that one of my former students brings me their child,
yeah.
I have one family that back in the day, I had there. He's now 17, all three siblings, 17, 15, and 13. So I have now multiple family members of that same family, with the
Yeah,
youngest now.
it's the
She's
coolest thing, right?
9 months old. So I've been sort of
Yeah,
indirectly a member of this family for so long that it's such an
exactly.
honor. It's so special. I
I
do
know.
not take
That
that privilege
yeah,
lightly.
because I don't think, there's not a lot of jobs out there that you get that
No.
you don't. I mean, it's like they start with me as a baby, they learn to swim, and maybe they go to swim team, and maybe we're still interacting. And then they get a little bit older, then they come back and they work for me. And then they get a little
Yeah.
bit older, and then they get married and you go to their wedding. And then they get a little bit older, and then they start having kids, and then you teach the kids, and then those kids grow. Yeah, it's like this whole, it's super cool. And I think
Super cool.
I it's just so joyous having a career like that. I mean, come on, look. How much money do we spend on clothes? Not much. T-shirts and shirts. I mean, like if you had a office job and you had to like
Oh,
do you even get dressed really other than your swimsuit and t-shirt before you go
no.
off in the pool? Like, it's
Right? We
really
just wear a
about
different
makeup.
suit to work. Suit and
And then
tie is a little
sometimes when I'm
different for us.
working really hard and like all day and I come home, my hair's wet and I'm like, "Ugh, I don't want to take a shower and get wet again. I'm just tired." And then I'll wake up in the morning and I'm like, well, I have classes and I have this big old haired knotty thing. And I'm like, well, I'm just hopping back in the pool anyways. Who cares? Right. It's like,
I
so
did. I will say, in 2018, I went through that, and I walked into, literally, the salon was right next to the swim school that I was at.
uh,
I walked in on my lunch break, and I said, "Buzz it all off. I'm done. Just buzz it all off." And he looked at me and he's like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I have 90 minutes. Let's go." I walked in with hair down to my mid back, and I walked out with half my head shaved and an inch on the top. And I returned, and my employees, my staff, their jaws were on the floor.
yeah,
But I was just like, I'm so sick of having it in a bun. I'm so sick of it being wet, you know, all,
yeah.
40 hours a week. It's just a mop. I buzzed it all off. So I hear your sister. It's just,
Well,
yeah,
mine's still growing, but I just stick it up in a baseball cap. I'm good.
you're
So,
good.
but I mean, but as a career choice, it's the easiest. I mean, it has been such a great, humbling, awesome, the best ever. We just have the best job ever. And that would be what I would want to convey to the younger generation as well. Spend time, really learn the craft, really get to know how you can read kids, and you'll because AI can't teach you how to swim, right?
Man. Amen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, they
uh,
can give you the mechanics and they can show you what it's supposed to look like, but they're
yeah.
not gonna be there to give you the exact stuff. I don't know, maybe they will, but it's just not the same. A swim teacher is a swim teacher.
Not. I think that's where we have the job security, is that one-to-one rapport and trust
Right.
and connection that we're building with our kids and our families. And there's never going to be a robot that will pat them on their back and
Yeah,
say,
because it'd be too
"Ready,
meddling. They wouldn't be
swim."
cool robots. And plus the water would probably make them not work after long. I
Yeah,
would
that's the thing.
guess.
We've got plenty of time. I don't think waterproof
I know.
robots are going to
I know.
be hitting
Probably
the
not my
market.
lifetime. But too, and then it's kind of like I really would hope that Angie, she works for me now, that does the spa conference with me, Angie Baker. She actually had heard something a gymnastics coach had said to her staff, and it goes along with the swim schools too. It's kind of like, I'm paying you to teach swimming, not watch it. And so it's kind of the thing. It's like, really, does up and coming generation, they just they really need to get their hands on. They really need to engage. You've got three lovely kiddos here. Engage with them and really make sure that they have the best swim lesson ever. And every day that they come, they have the best swim lesson. But that's the hard part with this younger generation, is getting them to fully engage. And but hopefully we'll see some coming down the pike here soon to help with that. Yeah, I know. It's like always training,
A whole
always training.
conversation that'll come down the pipeline later about
I know.
technology and
If you ever
lessons,
want
but
to talk
we can
about
talk about that for
staffing,
hours.
that'd be a whole nother topic.
A whole nother blog.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll finish this lovely discussion with this sentence, and it is, behind my goggles, I want people to know X.
I would just say that it's the best career choice ever. Everything is wrapped in that you need to have a joyful job career. I mean, you get your self gratification, but I think what it is that makes it the best career choice that I made is just the family atmosphere that it has brought not only my staff together, but just the kids that swim. And it's the best choice. I would not see myself doing anything else. Other than the only other thing would be searching for pirate treasure. Mhm.
In Fiji.
Yeah, well, yeah, but no, no, legit. I worked on a salvage boat on the 1760 fleet in Florida, trying to find the Queen's jewels. All the shipwrecks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I could do
That's
that. I
amazing.
could do that for hours and hours and hours on end and go find sunken treasure. But that would be my second job. That would be my second choice of a job.
Leave all the business shenanigans behind.
Yeah.
Just go hunt pirate treasure.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Well, thank you so much. I love doing these. This has been so much fun. I'm going to leave your contact information down below in this video, as well as the written document that I'll post. And so people can find you in all platforms if they have any questions about spa, if they have any questions about your autism training, if they have questions or are interested in enrolling at Aqua Pro Swim School, if they want to just to get to know you better, if they want to hire you for a speaking consulting or training gig. So we'll have all that information at the bottom of the video when I post this. But other
Okay.
than that, thank you so much. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Thank you for inviting me. It was fun. I know we get to see each other at these little swim things here locally, but we don't really chat much, huh? Hey, at least we got a good hour to chit chat.
I love it. I love it. All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much. Have a
You're
good night,
welcome.
and we'll chat soon.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.